Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today. I'm your host, Christine Wiggins, and today's Friday, November 7th. Coming up on Cullman Today, Garden City, Holly Pond, and West Point swear in new councils and leadership this week, and we've got the details for each, plus sports, weather, and more. Now let's take a closer look at the top stories happening in Cullman today. The town of Garden City held its swearing-in ceremony Monday night at Garden City Town Hall, reaffirming the town's leadership for the upcoming term. Mayor Tim Eskew was sworn in for another term, along with Councilman Place 1 Butch Bradford, Place 2 Jonathan Sharp, Place 3 Michael Black, Place 4 Scott Arnold, and Place 5 Barrett Harden. Other officials who were reappointed during the meeting included Clerk Treasurer Amy Black, Town Attorney Heath Maherg, Fire Chief Zach Thomas, and Maintenance Manager Mitch Black. Holly Pond also has its new leadership in place. On Monday, Mayor Carla Hart and council members Ricky Carr, Paul Brown, Deborah Holcomb, and Thomas Kidd took the oath of office. The council then tapped Brown as mayor pro tem and reappointed Connie Moore as town clerk and treasurer. Members handled several housekeeping items, including approving designated public depositories for town funds, adopting the IRS mileage reimbursement rate, and keeping regular meetings on the first Monday at 6 p.m. An ordinance to name the mayor as utility superintendent was introduced. They'll revisit pay details at December's meeting. Town hall hours are changing to Mondays from noon to 5 p.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. A replacement for the vacant Place 5 seat is also expected at the December meeting. Mark your calendars. The community Christmas tree lighting is Friday, December 6th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the park, with a new restroom behind Town Hall slated to be ready. Next council meeting is Monday, December 1st at 6 p.m. at the Guy Hunt Library and Museum. And West Point held its organizational meeting and swearing in Monday as well, seating the new council and seating leadership for the term. With no mayoral candidate on the August ballot and outgoing Mayor Gerald Schaefer not seeking re-election, the newly seated council followed state procedure and appointed Timmy Smith as mayor. Smith had been elected to Place 4, which is now vacant. The council elected Ashley Phillips, Place 5, as mayor pro tem. Returning members included Darion Daniel, Place 2, and Steve Link, Place 3. Places 1 and 4 remain vacant and will be filled later. Members recognized former Mayor Schaefer and council member Frankie Jones for their service. The council reappointed Dan Willingham as town attorney and Joanne Jones as town clerk, continued the town's current depository accounts, and adopted Robert's Rules of Order for meeting procedure. Committee appointments were postponed until the vacancies are filled. Regular meetings remain the third Monday of the month at 6 p.m. at West Point Town Hall. And that's all for our top stories this morning. Coming up on the gridiron, Fairview grinds out a classic over Arab to move on, while West Point runs into a buzzsaw at Scottsboro. We'll break down both playoff games next. Welcome back. Last night, 4 Cullman area teams opened round 1 of the playoffs. Fairview and Arab renewed their rivalry at Dafford Smith Stadium last night, meeting for the first time since 1977. The Knights marched down on their opening drive, but Colt Redding's end zone interception flipped the momentum and set up a quick Fairview strike from Redding to Jordan Ellis for a 7-0 Aggie lead. Arab answered late in the second with a fake punt and a deep touchdown from Nicholas Stevens to Dylan Kirkland to tie it 7-7 at the half. After the break, tough running from Jake Harper powered a 2-yard score, and the Aggie defense slammed the door to win it 14-7. West Point hit the road to Scottsboro for a first-round playoff matchup, and it was a long night for the Warriors. The Wildcats struck early and often, piling up big plays to build a 31-zip lead by halftime and stretching it to 45-zip early in the fourth quarter. West Point kept fighting. Quarterback Aiden Ennis found Bryant Moon for a touchdown through the air, and later Mason Wilkins broke loose for a 29-yard scoring run to get the Warriors on the board. But the early hole was too deep, and Scottsboro advanced with a 45-14 win. West Point finishes the season 5-6. In other matchups, Good Hope slipped past Cherokee County 28-26, and Addison rolled past Ragland 71-39. Tonight, 2 more hit the field, Meek at Woodville and Vinemont at Westminster Christian, both at 7 p.m. We'll have the full breakdown and what's next in our next broadcast. And that wraps up sports for today. Coming up next, a veterans luncheon at the Omniplex salutes service and sacrifice. And from trash to taps, Cullman rallies to protect the lakes that feed your faucet. Welcome back. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Cullman Utilities wrapped up its second annual lake cleanup days on Wednesday. Reporter Annabelle Howes has the story.
Cullman Utilities wrapped up its second annual lake cleanup days on Wednesday, November 5th, bringing together volunteers, employees, and community members to collect trash around Lake Catoma and Duck River Reservoir, 2 of Cullman's main water sources. The 2-day event encouraged residents to help preserve the natural beauty of the areas that supply the city's drinking water. Volunteers joined Cullman Utilities staff to collect litter, clear trails, and tidy shoreline buffer zones. Base stations were set up with gloves, trash bags, and other supplies before teams headed out across the lakes. Experienced fishermen targeted harder-to-reach spots that needed extra attention. Cullman Utilities CEO Allison Bright said the cleanup reflects both environmental pride and community involvement. While most litter doesn't affect water quality directly, keeping the lakes clean demonstrates care for the resources that serve the city. Community engagement was also key. Executive Assistant Shelley Wall said the event offers residents a simple, meaningful way to give back, spending time outdoors, protecting local waters, and building stronger connections with the utility. Volunteers tackled trails and shorelines, helping strengthen relationships between Cullman Utilities and nearby property owners. Cullman Water Treatment Plant Manager Brian Stiles noted that Duck River and Lake Catoma are held to stricter standards than nearby lakes because they supply drinking water. Regulations limit certain recreational activities to maintain environmental and safety requirements. Officials hope the cleanup becomes a lasting tradition. The Utilities Board plans to continue hosting the event each November when lower lake levels and cooler weather make shoreline work easier. Bright said this year's strong turnout and visible results highlight the community's dedication to keeping Cullman's water clean and its natural spaces beautiful. This has been Annabelle Howes with Cullman Today.
In preparation for the 2025 Cullman Christkindlmarkt, the City of Cullman has advised that beginning Monday, the parking lot at Cullman Economic Development will be closed until January, and Arnold Street Northeast and First Avenue in front of Fest Hall are closed until further notice. The city apologized for any inconvenience the closures may cause and hopes you'll enjoy the month-long festival in downtown Cullman that opens November 20th and runs through December 23rd. Veterans, families, and neighbors gathered Wednesday at the Cullman Omniplex for a luncheon honoring those who served and those who gave their lives. The program opened with the posting of colors by the Cullman City Fire Department Honor Guard and with music from West Elementary 5th graders led by Army National Guard Field Artillery Sergeant Keenan Hollingsworth. Guest speaker Ben Harrison, director of the Cullman Regional Airport, shared his family's long military ties and reflected on the cost of freedom, recalling his experience overseas on September 11, 2001, and the Americans lost in World War II and other conflicts. The afternoon mixed food, fellowship, and quiet reflection, underscoring how veterans' courage continues to shape the community. Organizers thanked event sponsors, including Drinker Development, the Cullman County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Matt Gentry, AmFirst, Kenneth Cornelius, Premier Bank of the South, and Glover's Nursery. The luncheon closed with a reminder to honor service year-round through support for veterans and their families. Wagon Trail Hemp Farms is reshaping its business ahead of Alabama's new hemp law taking effect January 1, 2026. The company says online sales to Alabama customers will cease under HB 445, which moves oversight of consumable hemp to the ABC board and limits sales to licensed 21 and older retail locations. To serve customers, Wagon Trail will distribute its herbal drink line and compliant gummies through approved outlets statewide. Product specs remain within the new rules. Gummies at 40 milligrams Delta-9 THC per pack, 4 10-milligram pieces, and beverages at 5 milligrams, all in child-resistant packaging. The team plans to adapt operations, maintain availability across Alabama, and keep customers updated as retailers secure ABC licenses. Smokable hemp products will not be offered as raw flower and pre-rolls are no longer legal for sale under the law. And that's your 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have lost their lives this week. Ronald Lee Seybold, 71, passed away Thursday, November 6th. A celebration of life will be held Monday, November 10th at Cullman Heritage Funeral Home. Visitation will be held from 11 to 1 and celebration service at 1 p.m. with interment to follow in Cullman Heritage Cemetery. Sherrell Sherman Johnson, 87, passed away Tuesday, November 4th. Visitation will be held today at Livingston Chapel Church from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with funeral service following. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their friends and families. Now let's take a look at your weekend weather forecast. Today is partly sunny with a few showers after mid-afternoon, high near 71 with a light southwest breeze. Tonight, showers are likely, a rumble possible, tapering late, low around 57. Saturday, partly sunny, scattered showers and storms after mid-morning, high near 73. Saturday night, a chance of showers early, then cooler with a light northwest breeze, low near 48. Sunday, cooler and partly sunny, a high near only 54. Sunday night, clear and cold, the first hard freeze for many, a low near 28. And that wraps up today's edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for sharing your morning with us. And remember to stay connected by following us on social media and visiting CullmanTribune.com for the latest from our community. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Until then, I'm Christine Wiggins with Cullman Today. Have a wonderful weekend, Cullman.